All right, welcome to our explainer. Today, we're diving into something that sounds almost too simple, but trust me, it's powerful. It's a two-word tool that can totally change your relationships, slash your stress, and, get this, give you back control over your own life.
I know, it sounds completely backward, right? I mean, we spend so much of our lives trying to manage things, to influence people, to control situations. But what if that struggle, that constant effort, is actually the very thing holding us back? What if the real secret to power is just letting go? Just think about it for a second. How much mental energy do you burn just worrying? Worrying if a friend is mad at you, or if your boss is going to like your latest project, or if your family's okay with the choices you're making. This is the energy trap, and it's exhausting. It's this constant, draining battle that you're fighting on a battlefield you literally cannot win, because you're trying to control things that are, well, totally uncontrollable.
And that's exactly where this awesome, simple theory from author Mel Robbins comes into play. It's basically a tool designed to yank you right out of that energy trap, and it only uses two words. The whole idea is to free yourself from all that drama, from the opinions and the expectations of other people, so you can finally focus on what actually matters. And what's that? It's you.
Okay, so let's get practical here. Our very first takeaway is all about understanding this fight you can't win, and more importantly, why you've got to stop fighting it. So let's look at the simple science behind this, okay? The average person has something like 70,000 thoughts a day. 70,000. Think about that. You can't even control all of your own thoughts. So what on earth makes us think we can control the 70,000 thoughts bouncing around in someone else's head? The bottom line, you just can't. And trying to? Well, that's just a guaranteed way to burn through your most precious resources, your time and your energy. And this brings us to a really critical point. Let them is not the same as passively letting it go. You know that feeling, right, where letting it go just means swallowing your feelings and walking away while everything still feels unresolved? No, this is different. Let them is an active, conscious choice. You're not giving up. What you're doing is intentionally releasing your death grip on something you never actually had control over to begin with. That's a serious power move.
All right, let's jump into our second big takeaway. This is where it all starts to build, because let them, well, that's only half the story. The real transformation, the game-changing part, happens with what comes next.
So here's the crucial mechanic. It's a simple two-step process. First, you just say, let them. So your friends didn't invite you out? Let them. Your partner's in a funk? Let them. See? This immediately releases you from that initial wave of stress. But then, and this is key, then comes the power move. Let me. This is where you pivot right back to yourself and you decide what you are going to do next.
To really paint a picture of how this works, let's borrow the seesaw analogy from the book. Imagine this. When someone does something that bugs you and you react with anger or stress, it's like their end of the seesaw shoots up and your end goes crashing down. You're just weighed down by all that negativity.
Now, when you say let them, it's like you mentally push off from the ground. Whoosh! Suddenly you rise up. You get some perspective because you've detached from that immediate emotional hit. You feel lighter, you feel freer, all because you've just shifted the entire power dynamic.
But, and this is a big but, here's the trap. If you stop right there, just sitting high up on your seesaw, kind of looking down on everyone else, you're going to end up feeling disconnected, isolated. Just saying let them on repeat without the second step, that can actually make you withdraw and feel pretty lonely.
See, the real power isn't in looking down on people. That's just a temporary high. The honest-to-goodness transformation comes from that second step. Let me. That is the move that takes you from this temporary feeling of being superior to a place of genuine, lasting power.
Let me is what brings that seesaw back into balance. It's that moment you say to yourself, okay, let me focus on what I can control. Or, you know what, let me just reach out and make my own plans. Or even, let me be the bigger person here. The goal isn't to be above anyone. It's all about balance, where you both respect that you each get to control your own actions and choices, period.
So, what does all this actually mean for our connections with other people? Well, our final takeaway zooms in on the practical, day-to-day impact this theory can have on your relationships.
Let's be real. We all fall into these traps. We expect our friendships as adults to be as easy as they were back in school. Or we try to fix people, to force them to change. Or we waste so much energy chasing after people who clearly aren't choosing us back.
All of these are just classic examples of trying to control the uncontrollable. And man, is it exhausting.
But when you start applying the let them theory, you just stop these draining behaviors. You let people be who they are, which means you can finally see them for who they really are. It gives them space, sure, but it also gives you the freedom to build relationships based on reality, not on some fantasy you've cooked up. And that's how you create stronger, more authentic connections, the kind built on mutual respect, not on control.
So now that we've walked through these key takeaways, we've arrived at the final and honestly the most important part. It's your turn to choose. When you boil it all down, the core message is this. Your real power isn't in managing the world around you. Nope, it's in managing your response to it. That is the one and only thing you always have 100% control over.
Ultimately, this whole let them theory isn't really about letting other people off the hook. It's about putting yourself back on the hook in the best way possible. It's about that profound aha moment when you realize the power you've been looking for from other people has been inside you this whole time. You've just been accidentally giving it away by focusing on all the wrong things. And so, that leaves us with one final big question to chew on. Just imagine all the time, the peace of mind, and the sheer mental energy you're going to reclaim when you stop trying to manage everybody else. So what are you going to do with it? What amazing goals are you going to chase? What kind of life are you going to build for yourself? Well, that's totally up to you.